Hi everyone, welcome to Ramen Storage Shed. This time of the year, around the holidays, towards the end of 2025, I set out earlier this year to achieve a goal that I hadn't achieved in a long time. I like to play retro video games, and I have a backlog of a lot of games, and I decided this year to go through and try to beat some of my backlog. And at the beginning of the year, my goal was 12 games, and at the end of the year, so it's not quite the end of the year yet. We still got, 2 or 3 weeks left, but I'm going to count it as the end of the year. I almost doubled my goal. I beat 22 games this year. I beat 9 for the Nintendo Gamecube, 9 for the 3DS, 1 for the NES, 1 for the Game Boy, 1 on the Wii, and 1 on the Dreamcast. And I'd like to talk about some of those today, give you some of my insights on some of them. Go through and talk about which ones fit certain categories for awards I'm going to give out, and then give out the best game that I've played this year. First off, I'll talk about a game that was really cool, but I'll never replay it. That is Epic Mickey Power of Illusion for the Nintendo 3DS. That was a really neat stylistic game. It was done in a really cool 2D art style, reminiscent of the Castle of Illusion games for the Sega Genesis. I thought it was pretty cool, but it was kind of a slog to get through. I think I spent 10 hours beating it, and once you got to the end to beat the final boss, credits roll, and it reverts back to right before the boss. So there was no real reward for beating it besides saying, good job, you beat it. I think it was cool. I definitely liked the experience, but that's one I'm not gonna play again. The longest game I played this year was Pokemon Alpha Sapphire for the Nintendo 3DS. I spent 70 hours on it back in March. There was a slow time at work, and I decided, I've got this game, I'll just start it up and beat it to completion. And I beat it to completion and almost 100%ed it. Obviously, with the Pokemon games, you have to be able to trade back and forth, and I didn't really want to play through another game just to trade and finish it out. So I didn't quite beat it 100%, but I did end up playing it and beat it as much as I could with one save file. So that was my longest game played this year. My most unexpected game was Resident Evil Revelations for the Nintendo 3DS. I bought this game, maybe 2021, 2022, and I had a Nintendo 2DS. And for those of you who don't know, it's kind of a weird slab of a system. It was kind of odd to play games on, and I never really got into it. I just was like, it's all right. I guess I'll get to it eventually. And this year I picked up a new Nintendo 2DS system, and I transferred everything over, and I said, I'll give this game a shot. Now it's got a little smaller analog stick, and you could use dual analog control, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great game. I really dug the story, dug the atmosphere. The controls are a little not my favorite sometimes, but I really had a blast playing it the whole way through. I definitely would play it again. But that was probably the most unexpected game that I tried before, and I was like, I don't know if I really am gonna beat that, and I finally did. Which is leading into my next game, which is the Finally Beat It award, or the game that I finally went, wow, okay, I can beat this, and that would be Luigi's Mansion. I played Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon. I never finished it. I got close, but I never finished it. I had Luigi's Mansion 1 for the 3DS, and I didn't really dig the art style, never could get into it. But when I got it for 3DS or for Gamecube, I picked it up from a guy locally, and I picked up for Gamecube. And in October, I sat down and said, I'm just gonna, get through this game, and wow, it was a blast. It wasn't super long. I think I beat it in a couple of evenings, sitting down and playing it for the first time. But man, that was a really fun game, and I definitely got a new perspective on it. And I think playing it with the GameCube controller instead of the 3DS really did a number on that. The game I procrastinated the most this year, Chibi-Robo Lash for the Nintendo 3DS. This is one that I had rotting in my 3DS physically as a cartridge for a couple of months, and it was very boring. I really didn't like it. But I got far enough in it that I said I just need to finish it, and I'd play it one level at a time and then quit, and then play another level and then quit. And I did not 100% it. I have no desire to ever 100% it, but I did beat the game. And I think the final boss is really cool, but I really have no desire to ever touch that game again. But I'm going to keep it physically as a trophy to say, hey, I did do it. The worst game I played this year was Cartoon Network Battle Crashers, again for the 3DS. It's a licensed, cheap beat-em-up game. You play as Cartoon Network characters. The controls really stiff. It's a very boring game, very repetitive, and there really wasn't a whole lot to it, but it took a long time to beat. I think I spent close to 6 hours to actually beat it finally, and it was just slow and monotonous, and again, another game I have no desire to ever play again, but I did beat it. And the best co-op game this year goes to New Super Mario Bros. Wii. My wife and I bought it this year. I think I don't remember if I got it online or if I picked it up locally. But we sat down and we would just, of an evening, okay, we'll play some Mario. And as of last night or the night before, we ended up beating it together as a couple. I never beat it before. She never beat it before. I had it as a kid. And it was a really fun experience. Obviously, doing co-op, there's a little bit more of like jabbing at each other and you did this and you did this. But I really thought it was great. I would say my favorite game throughout this year that I played. My most unique game that I didn't think I'd be into before this year. NFL 2K for the Sega Dreamcast. I've never been a huge sports fan. I mean, at least in terms of video games. Tried Madden before. I've not been huge into it. I've tried NFL Blitz. I've not been huge into it. I mean, I enjoy them, but they're not my thing. And then I picked up NFL 2K for the Dreamcast, and I ended up going through the season mode on that and getting undefeated and not losing, and I ended up getting through the Super Bowl too, and I had an undefeated season. I learned how to play it. I learned the intricacies of it, and it is by far my favorite sports game that I've ever played. It was wonderful. I don't know that I'll do the season mode again. That took, let's say like 30 minutes a game times 17 games plus the playoffs, and you have interruptions and stuff in between. It took a solid, probably like a month to actually finally get through it, but I would say that it was a really good time. I definitely would say that's probably my favorite sports game of all time now. My favorite game of this year, I would have to say, that is a tough one. I think my favorite game that I went through and beat this year was probably Soul Calibur 2. I really haven't talked about it much. It was a game I picked up locally a couple months ago in a trade for some other stuff. And I played it when I was younger, and when I had my GameCube a couple years back, that was a game that I had for it. I was like, it's not bad. It's all right. But I finally sat down and I decided to go through the Weapon Master mode. That's considered the main mode of the game. There's an arcade mode where you get unlockable stages and stuff through Weapon Master. So you go through Weapon Master one time and you beat all of the basic stages, or most of the basic stages, and then you go back and beat it through Advanced. And going through Advanced, you unlock more basic stages, and you can buy weapons and such for your characters. And I would say consistently that was probably my favorite game that I played this year. My most played system was my 3DS, but that's just by default when you have long games like Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and Chibi-Robo Zip Lash and other games that take a long time to beat, or I procrastinate. Obviously, that's going to take longer. But I would say my favorite system I played this year is my Nintendo Gamecube. So, 22 games in 1 year. Obviously, some of them are long, and some of them I beat in a couple of hours. But 22 games certainly exceeded my expectations, and I hope to at least beat one a month for next year. So, until next time.